From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up!
warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
and this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by
Vitamin energy.
The vitamins.
The energy.
Now here's warchant.com's Aslan Hajavandi.
and Corey Clark.
Wake up! It's Wake Up Warchant, presented by Vitamin Energy, vitaminenergy.com. Coming up on today's show, I got the list in front of me here, Corey. We're going to talk about quarterbacks. We're going to talk about conference, realignment, title games. We're going to take some fun questions as we enter the true holiday season here. Wake Up Warchant is presented by Vitamin Energy, vitaminenergy.com, promo code warchantbogo. I actually had a bottle here at my mom's palatial estate, and now that you can tell that it's a green screen, it's not as palatial of an estate, but I knocked it over. I'm going to drink half of it, Corey. Not the whole thing, just half of it, which gives me like 120 milligrams of all natural caffeine or 130 milligrams, which is all I really need to power through my day coming off Thanksgiving, which hopefully treated everybody great. Again, holiday season upon us. Vitamin Energy, great gift, stocking stuffer. VitaminEnergy.com, promo code warchantbogo. The $150 deal, not $1.50. That'd be crazy. It was $1.50, right, Corey? But the $150 deal still going on over at warchant.com. $1 for a week and then 50% off an annual membership. Don't worry about the words on the screen below me here. Corey Clark, I see you. How are you?
I'm good, buddy. I'm good. Thanks for asking. Hope everybody has a happy start to their holiday season and had a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Yeah. All right, hey, before we start real quick, you want to put some shine on the basketball team? We didn't talk about that on Wednesday's program, and that probably upset some folks.
No, only that it was another impressive win. They overwhelmed another team with their athleticism and their defensive intensity and their bench. And they shot pretty well from three again, which is good. Maybe they're a better shooting team than they looked at the start of the season. That would be nice. And, that's I think Daquan Davis had 19, which was good to see. He knocked down a few threes. I think he could perhaps be a good shooter as we move forward this season into his career. So, now it gets real. I think their next game is at LSU as part of the ACC-SEC Challenge. And then I think the next game after that might be at NC State, maybe. So they got some real road tests coming up here. But, 7-1 in their first 8, most of them absolute blowouts, is good to see.
All right. So we're going to make this kind of a condensed show. So many questions. And we're going to try to maybe get to some of these next week. Corey, I think they're somewhat evergreen. Yeah. We're going to go to our guy, Noel for Life, class of 2007. He has a funny part, but we're not going to say the funny part out loud because it might be a little bit mean-spirited. Serious note, he says, outside of a win, which likely won't happen, what result Saturday would make you feel positive about the team going into the offseason? And I don't even know Corey, if they were to win 17-14, do you really, you feel good. You beat the Gators. I'm not complaining about that at all. But I don't know how that portends or speaks to, trajectory or anything about next season. They'd have to beat Florida 31-7, and Luke would have to look like Jameis looked in Pittsburgh for me to feel good about the future, which is highly unlikely.
Yeah, I don't know what a one-off win, how much it would make you feel better about the offseason when you still finish 3-9, save for what Aslan just said about Luke having a big day, maybe a couple of receivers that haven't done a whole lot have exceptional catches in big-time moments. Other than that, I wouldn't say, even if you went 20-14, it'd be awesome to kind of stunt their momentum because they're a rival
their
of yours.
Momentum, Corey. They're 6-5 momentum.
Right, but they're two big wins over SEC teams. So, it would be nice to stunt that. But other than that, no, I don't know that there's anything you would really take away to make you feel good heading into the offseason.
All right, let's see here. Next question comes from our guy, M. Adam CZ, also known as Mark. A lot on the screen. We'll get to it.
Yeah, that is a lot.
This is usually how it is, and we love Mark, and I usually pare it down, so I'll do it again. Coach Henshaw in his piece this week say that quarterback must be Mike's biggest priority by far, not just Luke, a portal quarterback who can really play at a high level. And now he puts the least priority on an offensive coordinator hire. Do you agree with Henshaw's assessment? Mark feels a really talented big splash offensive coordinator would likely attract a quarterback and an offensive line coach and players that we so desperately need. So
Yeah, I don't know what OC would make a splash like that, a big name OC that would come to Florida State. I just don't know that that's in the cards that would make an immediate splash. Yeah, man, I would push back a little on Henshaw just because the offense has been so bad that I would be like, I don't know, man. I think you've got to get a whole new brand new set of eyeballs, 6 sets of eyeballs maybe to look in that to fix that offense, and then somebody that Norvell can, because I don't think it's just a 12-month decision. Like the portal QB, that's great. You get somebody that immediately helps your offense and helps your program in the short term. But you'd like an OC to fix this for the long term. Not that he might be here for 6 years or 8 years, but maybe he has a coaching tree that when he leaves for a head coaching job, his assistant becomes the OC and it can roll right along. I think for the long term of Mike Norvell's tenure, it can't just be a one-off at quarterback. And I say that only because I don't foresee, and I could be wrong, I don't foresee a Cam Ward type coming to Tallahassee with a brand new offensive coordinator, a brand new offensive system, and no proven skill players. It's going to be hard to attract the guaranteed slam dunk, all ACC type quarterback to come play for you after this abysmal season. But a quarterback is a huge part of it.
Yeah. Our guy Ranye was a little bit of a contrarian. He thinks defensive coordinator is the biggest hire, but which it should be because your head coach is the offensive-minded guy. He should be able to fix this offense himself, but he's going to need some help. He's going to need some help. Yeah. All right, we got another question when it comes to quarterbacks. I might end up regretting this one, Corey, because I think this guy said something mean-spirited to me at least a minimum of 2 times on the Warchant message boards.
And you're still giving him some oxygen. Okay,
it's a good one because it deals with quarterbacks. We're already on camera. I'm going to ask Corey to demonstrate how one would power up an old school generator. Somebody who's upset that we keep cranking on a generator when it really is just a button.
Well, sure. But that's not, I guess I could just start pushing a button, but I like doing that little number.
So do I. Let's generate discussion, everybody. It's generating discussion. It's sparked by Cummins. Give them a follow on Instagram. Cummins Lifestyle. It's all one word. Actually, you know what, Corey? What I can do, I can actually make it look really cool, like Cummins. Look at that. One button. Boom.
There you go.
Nice. On the slide. By the way, this is a completely video podcast. So if you're listening to us and you want to see our faces the entire time, you can go to YouTube and watch it, but you can keep listening to it on the podcast version. Again, Cummins Lifestyle, it's all one word. Give them a follow on their Instagram page. They're not even asking me to pitch and hawk the awesome Onan line of products, which are the portable generators, the portable power stations. Just a follow is all they want because they want to show you all the cool things they're doing, and that'll probably inspire you to get on board with Cummins. They're a power leader. We're also going to make our monthly drawing winner right after this, but let's just get to the question from Muck Knoll Core that's going to generate discussion. Do you gentlemen trust Mike Norvell to make the right call as far as his 2025 quarterback choice? Transfer, no transfer, pin his entire FSU future on Luke. Muck Knoll later adds that he does not have the confidence right now. He thinks that Dillingham is the one who actually saw what Jordan could be. Norvell seemed determined to start anybody but Travis in 2020 and 21. If he makes a wrong choice December, he probably won't be coaching in Tallahassee after the 26 season.
Yeah, to answer the question, no. How could anyone trust him?
Yeah.
You hope he does it, but we all just lived this last year, and we've lived every year in every game that Jordan Travis hasn't been the quarterback, and we've seen all the other quarterbacks he's brought in. Obviously with respect to Luke and Brock, because they might end up being something still. We don't know. But the guys that left didn't really tear it up anywhere else they went either. No, I absolutely do not trust that he's going to make I don't know if he's asking, will he make the right call as far as does he stay with Luke or does he get a transfer portal?
Well, that or does it work out, I think, right?
Yeah.
That's the other part of it, yeah.
No, I don't trust that it will. You just hope. I don't think it's blind hope because I do think he is going to have a hopefully much more clarity about what his program is and what his offense is and what skill he has around him, what his offensive line might be, he will be much more clear-eyed in making that assessment, and then we'll make the quarterback decision accordingly, as opposed to I'm just going to bring in this 250, 45-pound dude that doesn't move all that well, but we're going to be able to run so much that it won't matter. That was obviously a grave mistake. And, that's no offense to DJU. He won games at other places. It's just his skill set didn't fit what this offense ended up being. So, no, don't trust it, but you hope he gets it right. He has to. He really does. He has to. Can't go through another season anything remotely like this again.
I don't even know if this is like a Mike Norvell specific problem. Clear, like so many coaches, high level, upper echelon programs are going to be in the same sort of position where they're going to need to figure out whether they're going to ride with this quarterback that they already have on their roster or go after somebody else.
Yeah.
Again, like, do I trust Mike to make the right decision? No, because I don't know who I would really trust. I mean, we can all laugh and scoff, but I think like Lane Kiffin is probably going to end up having a better quarterback on his roster next year than Mike Norvell. I don't know how many other really coaches I don't trust Kirby necessarily, but they already have Jaden Rashada on their roster. But he should know though, Corey. Right? He's been talking about, he's been thinking about the changes, and they're going to get this thing right. And I don't want to oversimplify it, but he's got to have a good idea of who he's going to want for his offensive coordinator, whether or not that guy's going to call plays, how it's going to look, what kind of talent they want to surround the quarterback with. And then, okay, Ken Luke in 15 more spring practices and then whatever 15 preseason practices. Did I say spring and preseason? Yeah. They're two different things, obviously. So he's got like 30 more practices to get Luke Kromenhoek ready for Alabama. And he's had to have seen what Luke has done from Dublin practices to getting ready for Florida to extrapolate this. And again, I want to oversimplify, but he's getting $10 million a year. This is the crux of his job, man, is to figure this part of the crux of his job is to win games, Corey. And that's going to be figuring out who to get at quarterback and whether that's going to the portal or trusting Luke. And he's going to have to talk with Brennan Marin, whoever he's going to hire as his offensive coordinator, and figure that part out, man. That I trust that he's going to make the right call. No, but I mean, he's going to be a confident guy when he gets up to the podium and explains to us what he did and why he did it.
Yeah, I agree. And he has not made a lot of very good quarterback decisions since he's been at Florida State. I would push back, though, on the Jordan piece a little bit. I completely agree. At the start of 2021, clearly a lot of 2020, he didn't think Jordan Travis was the best answer for that football team. And I do give Kenny Dillingham a lot of credit because he was Jordan Travis's biggest champion throughout that 2021 season. But when that season was over and Dillingham left, Jordan Travis still wasn't Jordan Travis yet, and Mike Norvell did not go into the portal. He did not go get anybody else. He stuck with his guy. He's like, yeah, this guy is good enough to be our starter, and he was right there. So, and I know you could say, well, yeah, all it took was the North Carolina game and beating Miami on 4th and 14 and putting up 3 touchdowns against Florida, even though he missed most of the first half. Like, it took him doing some things for Norvell to believe in him, but he did eventually come around and believe that Jordan Travis was the guy. So I would give him a little credit because I can tell you this, because I wrote columns about it and we talked about it ad nauseum. There were a lot of Florida State fans that did not want Jordan Travis to be the starting quarterback in 2022, and they thought Norvell made a mistake by not going and getting somebody in the portal.
Well said. All right, well, hey, we're going to give some stuff away. And by I say we, I mean the royal we, our great friends over at Cummins. Let's go ahead and add.
I can't see anything, by the way. I left my glasses downstairs. I was too lazy to go get them. So you just tell me who wins and who's on the spinning wheel.
I mildly panicked because I was like, oh, no, do I not have the screen up properly? But Mimi Knoll, Owl Knoll, Seminole Life, and Muck Knoll are monthly winners. TCC 99 won in October, but I forgot to put him in the drawing. So this is me trying to make up for it. With that said, this is our last monthly winner for a swag bag. All the names on the screen, though, get involved in the grand prize drawing. And the winner for the month of November, it's Mimi Knoll.
Yes.
Mimi Knoll. So, Mimi, go ahead and DM me or I'll DM you. We just need your size preference for whatever kind of clothing they're going to give you. Shirt, maybe tank top, who knows? Sun's out, guns out. But congrats. We'll get that shipped out to you as soon as we can. And then again, everybody will be involved in next week's drawing, Corey, where we're going to give away either a portable generator or portable power station.
Man, that's crazy. Unbelievable, Cummins. You guys are all welcome. You guys are all welcome. Congratulations, Mimi Nole.
Yeah. You folks are welcome to come on out to the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill on Friday. 5 o'clock, Jeff Cameron's going to be there. 6 o'clock-ish, Corey Clark. Will Brady Clark be with you?
Yeah, he'll be there for. Well, those won't be daylight hours because of stupid daylight savings. But yeah, he'll be there for probably till about 9:30. That's when the children are supposed to leave. I think it becomes an over 21 establishment around then. So maybe halftime of the Georgia Tech game, I'll kick them out.
Okay.
And the way Stephanie's actually made my house now a real home where Brady has a real bedroom with a TV all set up. So he's going to love life. He's not going to want to leave the house.
Okay, awesome. You're not going to want to leave the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill because you're going to hang out with Corey and Jeff Cameron. You're going to have delicious food and ice cold drinks and plenty of diversions, screens
big
everywhere.
Screens. There's an NFL game on that night. The Georgia Tech game, like I talked about. Mississippi State is earlier in the afternoon. Mm-hmm. So yeah, come out to Corner Pocket, man. There's going to be a lot of college football fans eating good food, drinking good drinks, commiserating about the end of this very forgettable season.
CPTallybar.com, the website, 2475 Appalachia Parkway, Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. We're back. It's Wake Up Warchant. It's presented by Vitamin Energy, vitaminenergy.com, promo code warchantbogo, buy one, get one free. All right, conference talk. We're going to try to bundle this together. Our guy, Bradley Moss, do you guys foresee eventually getting rid of conference championship games? We could see Ohio State and Oregon potentially play each other 3 times because regular season they could rematch in the Big Ten championship game, which I think is likely, and then maybe they'll collide in the playoffs again. He doesn't think the nation has an appetite for wanting to see that. And then kind of tangentially related, our guy Sam Enold, can we talk about future non-conference scheduling? With the current playoff system, it seems it makes very little sense to schedule any tough non-conference games. It doesn't make any sense to schedule teams like Bama and Georgia. Teams are rarely getting credit for winning tough non-conference games. See Florida State and LSU last year, and then you get severely punished for losing them. So conference championship games, non-conference scheduling, Corey, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think the conference championship games are something they'll have to completely revamp. I don't know what it does. I don't know how they'll do it. I would think, if I'm the SEC and I'm Sankey, I almost don't want Georgia to play Texas. I would rather say Ole Miss, like they'll have play-in games. Like Ole Miss gets to play Alabama again, and whoever wins that gets in. That's what it'll end up being, I think. Something along those lines because, Oregon has no business wanting to play in the Big Ten championship game. They want to get a bye, I guess. No. But other than that, they're in.
This is unintended consequences that we're living through right now, right?
Especially with those two conferences, right? Yeah. Because those two conferences know if you're one of the top 2 teams in those 2 conferences, la-di-da, man, you're already in, and we all know it. So what's the point of even playing it? Now you can say, it's a Big Ten championship, and that is awesome. But I don't know. It was a money-making venture to start with. It was a brilliant idea by Roy Kramer back in the early 90s with the SEC. But it really has no place now. It is kind of like it has become like an ACC tournament basketball championship. Like other than the ones that Florida State won, which is 1, 2 if you count the COVID year. Do you remember any of the other ones? You assume Duke won a lot, Virginia won a few, North Carolina's won some. Like they don't matter. You're already in the tournament. So the conference championships should be more about the group of 5 teams. But the Big 2, I don't know why they need them, and they're going to be making so much money anyway with the extra playoff revenue that you would think the conference championship games become obsolete. I don't know why you would need them anymore. Maybe the ACC does, sure. But those Big 2 especially, I think they're going to try to move away from it, and they're the 2 conferences that control the shots. They call everything.
And then what about non-conference scheduling? Texas isn't getting any juice out of the Michigan win. Southern Cal's not going to get a lot of juice out of that LSU game. I don't think LSU got punished for losing that Southern Cal game either. It's maybe those are really bad examples because 3 out of the 4 teams, not 3 out of the 4. Yeah, 3 out of the 4 teams are down, right? Southern Cal's down, LSU's down, Michigan's down. The only one that's kind of up is Texas. I know you're a proponent of getting the hell out of this home and home with Alabama.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be something that's going to have to happen, probably, Core, is that we're all going to have to play some sort of unified conference schedule. Like, everyone's got to play at least 8 conference games. And I don't know what you're going to do with non-conference. I mean, I don't know if there's going to have crossover games, or do we just go to 8 and then start the playoffs then?
Well, they won't do that. There's too much money to be lost. They'll figure out something. I don't mind non-conference games. There's just no – Florida State gets nothing out of playing Alabama. If they beat Alabama, we just saw it, as Sammy Noles said in 2023. Florida State ended up beating a top 15 LSU team by 4 touchdowns and the Heisman winner. And it didn't matter at all 12 weeks later. It was almost as if the game didn't play. Alabama's win over LSU mattered. Florida State's more impressive win on a neutral site didn't matter. And Jane Daniels played that whole game. Jane Daniels got knocked out at halftime against Alabama, but whatever. They beat LSU. They get to go to the playoff. Florida State beat LSU. Who cares? What is the point? What is the point? Alabama can lose to Florida State and lose 2 more times, and they're still in. Florida State loses to Alabama. It doesn't make the ACC. It loses once in conference, and I know, folks, I know what team I'm talking about right now. Odds are Florida State's going to lose more than twice next year. But if they lose twice, and one of them is to Alabama, great. What does that do for you? The reason Clemson still has a chance, right? Because they got boat raced by Georgia. Was that a good decision by Clemson to play that game? They get anything out of it? No. And if push comes to shove and Clemson's right on the cusp, because they're probably not going to make the ACC championship game, and they finish with 2 losses, there's still a very good chance they're going to be behind Tennessee or behind another. Maybe they don't even behind a 3-loss SEC team because their wins aren't good enough, and one of their losses was a blowout to Georgia. So at the beginning of the season, I think that game would be different now. But what do I know? I don't see why in the world Florida State is playing this game. Cancel it. Cancel the home and home. I don't know what the payout is. It's probably about the same as you're paying Alex Atkins. But you do not want to start next season with a loss on your schedule. And I just don't foresee, and again, this isn't Nick Saban's Alabama. I could be wrong. I don't foresee your season opening game against Alabama going very well, whether it's at home or not. So get rid of it. And also, why are you doing that for the SEC? What has the SEC ever done for you? All they did was mock you last year. In that program especially, mocked you, then tried to take your coach. Why then would you give them a marquee home and home? What are you doing? Have some pride and cancel the damn thing. And while you're at it, you better call Kirby and say, nope, we don't want that one either.
I'm just trying to think if, and this is totally spitballing on the fly here. We got to keep this thing moving because we're not trying to do a long show, everybody. But, start the playoffs like in week 8. Everybody plays 7 conference games or something weird like that. And then you just go ahead and you start pairing up the 1 seed from the SEC against the 2 seed from the ACC. You start seeding things out from there. You win that game, you advance, but then it becomes like loser bracket games, kind of. It becomes like not double elimination, but
like wrestle-offs, like at the state tournament, where if you lose an early match, you get to go back into a lower bracket and try to wrestle your way back.
Yeah, I guess the higher seeds maybe should be kind of immune from that, but seeds 3, 4, and 5 in the Big Ten, SEC, and ACC, like they start pairing up, and then if you win that game, you advance to the playoff. The next round of the playoffs. Losers face off against each other to then like the consolation bracket to then get back into the thick of it. There needs to be something that if we're going to keep conferences around, because we can't keep non-conference games. It just doesn't make sense to the points that we've made there. But I wonder if there's a way that we can unify it and just make it to where you're all playing the same amount of conference games. Then we can kind of get a true conference champion, if you will. I mean, it's just crazy that you've got these 16-team conferences. You're not playing everybody. How are you determining who the best team is? I don't know.
I think they'll end up going to like pods where there's like they do in the NFC, like the Falcons and Bucks and Saints all play the same out of division teams. So they have this essentially the same types of schedules. And I just think you'll do that with like Florida State, Georgia Tech, Miami, and Boston College will all play the same teams. And then I don't know. Non-conference will be its own thing, but yeah, I don't know. They might end up going to 12 conference games and just the group of 5 can play themselves. Who knows? I don't know about starting it at 8. I think that's too early. But yeah, something along those lines. Who knows where this thing is going, man?
Yeah. All right, let's go with some fun questions here from our guy, Flava Nole. Destyn Hill, Jaylin Lucas, both players that were anticipated for this season, or much was anticipated. Do you think the win-loss total is different if either or both of them were available this year? And also, Bushnell asks, what would the record be if Jameis was around this season? Who affects the win total more? Destyn Hill and Jaylin Lucas, or if Jameis was the quarterback?
Probably Jameis. I would think Jameis, you have a winning record. I would think I don't know. But what are they? 2-9, 6-5, 7-4. Yeah. He still doesn't have. Well, quarterbacks make everybody around him better though. But that offensive no running game, because it's not like he would be a real running threat. So I don't think your running game opens up. He's not handing it to Devontae and Carlos. So I still think there's not a running game threat. And then, yeah, he would be hit a lot. But he would will you to 6 or 7 wins just with his toughness, leadership, and greatness. Yeah.
I know you were feeling good about Destyn going into the preseason. And I wasn't quite there in terms of him being like a complete game changer. I really like Jaylin Lucas. And, they only had him for a game and a quarter or 2. Maybe you beat Duke. Maybe he makes a big play, a guy like Jaylin Lucas or Destyn Hill. I just feel like, I know you mentioned, I don't know if you're talking about like if Castellanos was on the team this year, they probably beat BC, they probably beat Duke, they probably beat Memphis. I don't know how many games I could go down the list if you have a marginally better wide receiver. I don't know just how much better Destyn would have been than whoever they have right now. And then Jaylin Lucas's explosive sort of ability on maybe kick returns kind of changes the mix. But I'll be excited to see what they can do for next year's team. But I don't think the fortunes for this season change much. It's like the whole like if Richard Leonard was around, maybe he was the best offensive lineman. It's like, well, the best of what kind of bunch?
Yeah, it's probably a win. Look, I think Destyn Hill was going to be a starter, and in hindsight, probably the best starter, just from what I saw. Have no idea how he'll come back from the injury, but I don't know that he's like such a elite prospect or was playing well enough for me to think it was going to make an enormous impact in terms of multiple wins. And quite frankly, just from what I saw from this offensive staff, I don't trust that they would have used Lucas enough to make a difference. I mean, he was healthy against Georgia Tech, and he was healthy. Was it Boston College? Then he got hurt, or this third game?
Yeah, Lucas. Yeah, Boston College. Yeah.
But he got hurt on a play where he had a 30-yard gain, which is one of their longest plays of the year. But it was like his third play in the game. And it's like, what are y'all not seeing in practice? Why would he not be on the field all the time? You don't have other dudes like him. You just don't. He was a matchup problem because of his speed and his quickness. And I think that would have been – but I wouldn't have trusted this offense because I didn't. I didn't see it against Georgia Tech, and I didn't see it against Boston College when he was healthy to think that they would have exploited that. But the flip could be, yeah, man, if he'd have kept playing and kept making plays, maybe by the Duke game, it's not that he just makes a big play. Maybe he gets all those touches that Cam Davis is getting. Those are Jaylin Lucas touches. And maybe that's an extra 60 yards. Maybe that's 150-yard touchdown run. Maybe that's not a fumble, a crippling fumble in the fourth quarter. So, but still, even if both of those guys are playing at their ceiling, I think you're talking about, I don't know, man, 4-7 maybe. Nothing special.
All right, speed round. Let's try to get to 3 or 4 of these on our way out here. Our guy, Jaylin, oven roasted turkey or fried turkey? I still haven't had a fried turkey, so I'll have to go with oven roasted. Mashed or sweet mashed potatoes? I'm a big sweet potato guy with my steaks, but Thanksgiving, just traditional standard mashed potatoes. And thoughts on jellied cranberry sauce from the can? Yes, please. Tons.
Yeah, I'm an oven roasted turkey guy. Don't eat potatoes at all, so I miss me with that one. And don't eat cranberries at all. So oven roasted turkey, Jared Knoll. The other two, don't care. Y'all eat what you want. I'll eat skinny French fries if people want to know. That's why I can eat the corner pocket French fries.
Our guy, Scotty FSU, wake up, give thanks up. If Brock Glenn were to transfer, should FSU retire the sod cemetery information button that he presses each day going into practice? maybe a legacy button. It'll rank right up there one day with Marvin Jones, Shade Tree Folklore, and possibly Brock's best contribution outside of not turning the ball over in Charlotte last year. As Corey might say, love you, Brock.
Is he the one that hits it every morning?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's kind of annoying though. I think Marvin under the shade tree was endearing, especially because they were making fun of him, and he's like, "Yeah, watch. Y'all keep making fun of me because I need some shade." But no, that was endearing. I don't know if Brock Glenn hitting that thing. I feel like he's trying to be annoying, or maybe he's just trying to be funny to his teammates, and it's just kind of his thing now. So, I'd still go with shade tree if that was the question.
Yeah. Island Chief, what's your most memorable play or game from this series? I thought it was this season, so I thought it was going to be funny, and I was going to debate that. Rick's to Sam, I was there for it. And it's 1A and 1B. The D-Rob play, maybe even the D-Rob play, because I saw that a little, because we were in the opposite end zone that PK caught the touchdown in, so the D-Rob play was near midfield, so I had a little bit of a better perspective on that. And I don't know, you got a couple plays left. I mean, the PK play, that was not fourth down or anything. I mean, the D-Rob play, that was back to the wall, 4th and 14, make or break. So I'm going to give D-Rob some love. He's part of the Warchant family. No animosity with PK, though, but I'll go with D-Rob, 4th and 14, 2003. Yeah,
there's a lot. Dawsey and 90, like the second play of the game, the 73-yard touchdown against their All-American DBs, both of them. Warwick Dunn, the Charlie to Warwick play is probably the most famous play in at least on Florida State's side in its history. Peter Warwick catching that deflected pass from Outson and making that guy – Mark-Ann Manuel, I think, is the guy that dropped what would have been a pick six. And then Peter Warwick makes a move on a guy, and he falls to his knee, and he runs in for a touchdown. That's about as loud as I've ever heard that stadium, is that night and that play. And then what about – I was going a little more recently. Kelvin, in his enormous game against them in 13, he makes a catch over one of their DBs, like a 50-yarder down the field.
Yes.
It just stares at him. Like is on a knee. The guy gets up, kind of dusts himself off, although he wasn't on the infield or anything. Kind of gets up, looks around, and Kelvin's just sitting there staring at him like this. Like, you going to say anything? I just did that to you again. Yeah. That was really memorable.
Was that his last touchdown where he just like pinballed off 3 guys or so?
No, that was the first touchdown of the first half. That was the last touchdown of the first half. This was like early in the third quarter. It's like a 50-yard catch where he goes and makes the catch over the guy, or gets by and makes the catch and gets tripped up, and then comes to, and instead of standing up immediately, he just goes to his knee and looks up at the guy. Yeah. Just like looking up at him like this, like you can't stop me. It's just a pretty badass moment. So that's up there too. Sorry, I was kicking.
And hey, honorable mention: Jordan Travis's whirly whirling dervish touchdown. Yeah. It was a throw, right? Like he ran 40 yards and then threw it, or did he just run it?
Well, no, you can't run 40 yards and throw a ball, Aslan. Oh, you meant run back the other side? No, they were both. They were both runs. He avoided 2 sacks on 2 separate plays, and got down to the half-yard line on each of them. One in the first half and one in the second half. Those were both, those were great. Give Jordan his flower. There's a million of them. Yeah. There's a million of them. But
nothing's probably going to get added to that on Saturday night.
Wouldn't it be awesome if it did, Aslan? What if a Croman Hawk to Portier teardrop for 46 yards in the final 30 seconds? That'd be something, man. That'd be a good moment.
All right, Corey is the heart and soul of the show, but I produce it, so I get to do these things. He doesn't want to go out into the weekend on this one, but maybe a cathartic moment for the fans. Whack169, read my question or not. At this point, I'm just wanting someone to explain to me what the blank has happened to Florida State football. I just got done watching the Darius and Maurice interviews and was stunned that not one friggin' reporter in that room asked either one a serious question. Don't give me this garbage if it's just their last game, blah, blah, blah. These players are part of one of the worst seasons in FSU history, and you guys in the media just giving them passes. They aren't amateurs anymore. They get paid, especially these two, to have gone from where they were last year, admittedly not great, to the less than great that they are this year is unreal. That just doesn't happen by itself. Do you think at some point in spring, Mike will give an interview to someone on the beat and go over what has happened the last 8 months? I think we do a lot of goodwill. Of course, he probably doesn't give a damn about goodwill. He's generationally rich now. With the fan base addressing what the thought process was going to the season, where it went wrong, how he's going to fix it, specifics. I'm tired of hearing about getting real ones. If he can't say what went wrong, then how the hell can he fix it?
Well, he can. I would say this real quick, just to that last question. He can know what went wrong without saying it out loud because he doesn't want to probably. And you could say, "Who cares? They get paid." He doesn't want to urinate all over his current or former players and say we just need to get better players. We weren't good enough here, here, and here. We'd all criticize him if he started doing that too. So he could know what's wrong without telling you what was wrong. But you're right. It would be nice for him, instead of just giving platitudes or just like empty words about getting real wins or fixing it, give us details into what exactly you're going to do. But good luck getting any football coach to ever do that, because that does not happen.
Exactly. What would make you feel better if he had a detailed list, or if he was just like, listen, man, I don't know either. Like, just crazy stuff happens in this sport. We got it. Like, it fell on our laps last year. Because part of me is like, if you can give me the 8 things that went wrong, like, why weren't these things being stopped? Why weren't they mitigated? How did you not see that coming down the pike? As opposed to just being like, listen, man, like, off the record, I have no idea, man. We felt good about everybody felt good. Coach Saban was watching us in Dublin and said that, damn, he wishes he could come back and coach this roster. Like, no clue what happened. Like, part of me was almost like, I'd rather have no explanation than have this 8 bullet point.
Well, any explanation he would have now, I hope and think it would be hindsight. Like, now that he's gone through the season, this is what was wrong. Not like stuff he should have seen. I mean, obviously he should have seen it last January, but he didn't see it until he started going through, look, lack of leadership. That's something that I hope he puts a real, he was blessed with some really good leaders that came in out of the portal. That really kind of were the backbone of the team. Obviously, they were extremely talented, but they were vocal, great leaders. And there was a void there, a big void there. There's also a void in talent that he didn't realize at the time. I think he thought his coaches were better than they were. But, they just came off a 13-0 season, so he was trusting them that these guys were going to get better and this offensive line was going to be good. If he could tell us the truth and not worry about, angering the people that he just fired, although I guess he already made them angry. But also, it's a fine line when you're a coach, because it's like you're passing the buck, man. You're saying, okay, it wasn't my fault. These guys let me down. The reality is, whether Norvell ever said it or not, his coaches let him down. They didn't get him good enough players to come in behind the big time transfers they got. He's to blame for that. But you'd like your coaches on either side of the ball to be able to develop or evaluate better, and they didn't.
Or tell you no, that guy's not going to work.
Yes. Or this guy is awesome. We have to get him at all costs. Not like, it doesn't matter. He's barely, I can make the most out of what we've got here. We'll be fine. We'll be able to run the ball. Don't worry. I got my guys. Yeah, man. The biggest mistake the offense made is the offensive line. But the guy was a hot up-and-coming coach. He had just coached 19 straight wins and done it, with scotch tape when you think about what he took over. So you thought Atkins was a guy you didn't want to lose, and it turns out he's one of the first guys he fires. But, it took a year. Sadly, and this doesn't give Norvell a pass at all, he gets paid to figure out these things beforehand. What was that movie, The Minority Report, where it was the Tom Cruise, Colin Farrell movie where it was pre-crimes. They could tell when somebody was about to commit a crime, precogs. Yeah, and they would go and arrest the people before they committed the murder.
Yeah, police utilize a psychic technology to arrest and convict murderers before they commit their crimes.
If Norvell could have seen, okay, this is going to be a crime against football, I've got to fire him immediately, and we've got to bring in transfer portal linemen, then that would have been awesome, but he didn't. And yeah, I mean, again, I don't know about if you asked Maurice and Darius what went wrong. It would have been an interesting answer. You're right. They are paid. They could have answers for it, but it didn't happen.
We were interviewing Andy Staples.
Well, we weren't there, but even if we were there, I don't know that it would have.
I would not have asked that.
I don't know if I'd have been like, hey, man, what went wrong? Why are y'all so bad? What happened? Because, look, man, I'm sure they have their theories. Would they have told us their theories? Don't know.
That's the thing. We're never going to be able to ask anybody, because after the Florida game, I mean, we'll maybe get 1 or 2 players if they lose, and that's the time and place to ask it, but who knows who they're going to give us and whether they'll, at that point, they're going to want to talk about it. But anyhow, we've talked too much. We've talked too much. We're 10 minutes past my artificial deadline. But anywho, I think JCS might have something for you folks on Friday. If not, there's definitely going to be a pregame show, 9 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. Meet and greet Friday, 5 p.m. Corey's appearance, 6 p.m. at Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Meet and greet Saturday, 4 to 6, Hotel Indigo. Post-game show, 10 to 15 minutes after the game. But typically when they're not doing well, it's 10 to 15 minutes before the game ends. So,
right. But that might be a barn burner. So it might be 15 minutes after the game this time.
Yeah. Hey, Corey, I think I might come by the tailgate on Saturday if you don't mind.
I don't believe you. You got to have your girlfriend with you?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Okay, well, then Stephanie will be fired up for that. Awesome.
Dude, a valued subscriber gave her and I incredibly good tickets. So there's no room in the press box because it's the Florida game. So we're actually going to go watch I'm taking her to the game. She went to Florida State for a few years, so it's not her first rodeo. Right. Joke, but shout out to our guy Tim, hooking it up.
Nice. She'll get to meet Brady. That'll be exciting. You could also come by Corner Pocket Friday night.
I don't know if I'll be back up in town by then.
I see. Well, either way, I can't wait to see you Saturday. Can't wait to see all y'all at Doak.
Yeah.
Rush the Actually,
don't.
You know what? Don't rush the field. Students, do what you want. You're students. And you probably would. And I wanted to say this because I meant to say it all week and I haven't. It was Charleston Southern. It was a 1-10 football team versus a 1-9 football team. And that crowd, honestly, Aslan, this isn't BS.
I can hear it.
It reminded me and uplifted me of like why we do this. Because there aren't many fan bases that would have shown up like that for that type of game against that team during this type of season. And still, it was sort of full. It was more full than I ever dreamed it would be. And so kudos, man, to the Florida State fans. Y'all still show up, even against 1-10 Charleston Southern, and your football team is 1-9. Students, if you want to, if you're there, go rush the field if they win. You have my permission. I'm sure that's what you were waiting for, the old man's permission to do what you want.
We cannot be held legally liable for any decisions you make. Corey Clark is not a health professional, mental health professional to give you advice on things, but we're here for entertainment.
What if they just rush the field as soon as Florida State takes the lead and they won't leave the field?
It's over.
It's over, guys. We're not doing it anymore. You give Florida the forfeit win, but it's an empty win.
Yeah, it is.
Just throwing that out there, gang.
Stay connected to warchant.com. Hot boards, coaching news, recruiting news. There's going to be a lot of visitors, so go over there, see what's going down and what awaits. We'll do a show on Monday for you folks. Can't wait. He's Corey Maslon. Thanks for listening, watching Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy.